Hi everyone, my name is Gabriel. Today we're here talking about one of my personal favorite fish. It was something that got me started here in the hobby and that has led me from one tank to many more. And that is going to be the betta fish. Now this fish is from Southeast Asia and it is one of my personal favorite fish. The reason being is because of all the colors that you can explore from these different species of betta fish that we have. Now here in this setup is made by ZooMed, and ZooMed did a phenomenal job with this 3-gallon setup. And the reason why I say that is because they give you a lot of the, the primary things that you need in order to actually keep them, and that being the substrate, nice little decor, some fish food, some conditioner, a light bulb along with a lamp, and then the bracket that goes over the center, and then a filter. That's a lot of things that a lot of people have to buy separate from a main aquarium, and with that being said, they put it all together in here for you. Now, when we talk about keeping bettas, usually we like to keep them, we recommend alone, but when you work up to something a little bit larger, like this 5-gallon crescent over here, made by Tetra, you can actually keep a couple more fish, as long as you do make sure you plant it up, make it heavy. You don't want to have your betta fish looking across the tank and seeing the other fish on a constant. Have some, what we like to call, is visual breaks inside of there. So having those plants grow and change the scenery changes up the perspective of the actual fish itself, and they kind of diffuse their aggression by having that nature. Now if you put other males in there, now you're going to ask for a conflict. Now betta fish are known to be a Siamese fighting fish because when presented with another male, they actually get a little bit more dominant and a little bit more aggressive to one another, and they kind of have a fight to the death. Same thing kind of goes with the female. If he's not ready to breed and he's not creating something what's called a bubble nest up at the top of your tank, that's also known as a breeding nest. That breeding nest is when he's ready to breed with a female. You can introduce her, you might be able to get some fry and some eggs. He'll actually take care of the babies, so as soon as they're done breeding, you'll see her drop the eggs. He'll catch the eggs, put them up in the nest. You'll want to remove her back out because then he might get mean to her or she might eat the babies. But once you actually take the female out, fry start to come, the male takes care of them, and then when you start to see them kind of swimming around, take out the male then. And then that way you are able to actually have fry babies. It is really cool to see your own fish kind of breed and go through that process, but you must be aware that they are going to be a lot of responsibilities once they start getting larger. You're not going to want to keep them in something like this. You can go much bigger and might be able to get away with that. So with that also being said, parameters is something that are very important with keeping these guys. When you set up these tanks, don't try and put them in the same day, even though they might be able to go in the tank the same day. Don't put them in there because these guys are going to want to be in certain parameters of like a pH of 7.4 to about 6.8. They like the more neutral zone of the pH range, which is going to be around a 7.0. If you can't keep your parameters low, which meaning your pH, you can always put almond leaves or catappa leaves and even pieces of driftwood in there to naturally lower that pH inside of the aquarium. Now you also want to make sure you're going to have something in here that is going to be temperature. These lights do put off a little bit of a heat, so it does kind of keep it above maybe 1 or 2 degrees above room temperature, but that's not going to be enough to suffice. When you're working with a 5-gallon tank, you definitely want to make sure that you're going to have some sort of heater inside of there, keeping the temperatures around like 72 to almost even 80 degrees. These guys are from Southeast Asia and they like that warmer temperatures, so you got to make sure that we're keeping those parameters right in that area. Now, one of my favorite things to do with bettas, which is going to get the most natural aspects out of them, is actually being able to put a lot of plants in there. If you ever wanted to try new plants, we always have a lot of options here in our locations, along with these tanks and along with a lot of other bettas. You can always come in and ask one of our associates out on the fish floor, and we will definitely be happy to help you out. We'll guide you in the right direction, but remember, if you don't have the tank set up first, give it some time to cycle. Give it about maybe a week or 2 before you come in. Throw some bacteria in there, so not just water conditioner, which is going to make your tap water safe, but it can bacteria that is going to help you break down your ammonia and your nitrogen cycle. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys did, leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys thought. If you wanted to know more in-depth things or anything like that, leave us a comment as well for that. I hope you appreciated the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya.